Hi, you guys. My name is Iyanu, and if you don't know me, I'm a great person. Today, we're gonna be reacting to English fairy tales for children. If you don't know what that is, they tell stories that are different. And like and subscribe and turn on your bell notifications on. I'm gonna start now. Peter Pan. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Peter. He was the captain of the Lost Boys. But let's just start with the darlings. So there was 3 children in a house: John, Wendy, and Michael. So John, Wendy, and Michael, one day their parents left and they all slept, and Wendy was saying, Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, Captain Hook, and they fell asleep. And then Tinkerbell and Peter Pan was going into the house from the window. Oh, and they had a Nana. They will just call him Nana. He was their own dog. So, like I was saying, Peter Pan and Tinkerbell were trying to budge into the house, but then the dog Nana was barking them away, and Peter Pan said, ouch. And one day, Nana was asleep, so they can go. And they just went inside, and Tinkerbell was flying all over the place and dropping objects. And Peter Pan was saying, quiet, don't wake them up. And then Wendy just heard them, and then Peter Pan was like, oh no. And Tinkerbell opened where Peter Pan's shadow was at, and Peter Pan's shadow was going all over the place. And then Wendy was like, who are you? What are you doing here? And then Peter Pan was like, I'm Peter Pan. And Peter Pan explained about Neverland. But Peter Pan's world was actually called Neverland. I don't know why it was called like that, Neverland, but yes. So Wendy was attaching Peter Pan's shadow back to himself. And then Peter Pan said, would you like to come to Neverland? And then Wendy was like, what is Neverland? And then Peter Pan said, Neverland is a great place. You will like it there. And then Wendy said, okay, I'll wake John and Michael up. So Wendy did. And then Tinkerbell was keep flying all over the place. And Peter Pan said, let's go fly. And then Wendy said, wait, we can't fly. And then Peter Pan said, come here, Tinkerbell. And Tinkerbell sparkled some fairy dust on them. And then they went. They were flying across the clouds. And when they went to Neverland, Captain Hook and his pirates were looking at Peter Pan from all the way up into the clouds. And Captain Hook was like, Peter, I'm gonna get you. And then they were shooting fireballs at him. And then Michael was like, oh, look, a ball. We can play with that. And then Peter Pan was like, no, that's a fireball. Scoop aside. And then they did. And Peter Pan said, let's separate. And then Peter Pan said, take Michael and John and Wendy to a better place, and I'll take care of Hook. And then Tinkerbell was angry because she wanted to get rid of Wendy. And she had an idea. She said, Wendy, I'll come back for you. And then Tinkerbell caught Michael and John's hands and left Wendy there dodging the balls, and Peter Pan went to go look for Captain Hook. And then Tinkerbell said, we have to kill that Wendy bird. And then the Lost Boys said, okay, let's kill her. And then they all shooted it up. But their actual names was Curly, the twins, and Nibs, and Slightly. So they were shooting. Nibs shoot his arrow right into Wendy's chest, and she fell to the ground. And I forgot to say, when Peter Pan was at their house, Peter Pan gave her a very special necklace, and it just fell to the ground. And then Peter Pan came back, and she was like, where's Wendy? Where's Wendy? And she was on the ground, but there was no blood on the arrow. It hit the special necklace. And then Peter Pan said, Wendy, wake up. And she did. And then she said, Peter, I was looking for you. And then Peter Pan asked, who did this? And then the Lost Boys said, Tinkerbell told us to kill her. And then Peter Pan was angry. He said, Tinkerbell, wherever you are, don't show me your face again. And they went in the house. And then Peter Pan said, you can be the mother to the boys. And then she said, okay, I'll read them a story. I'll read you Cinderella. So the next day, they just went out. It was a normal day. They just went out. And they decided to go home. Peter Pan was so upset since his friends were leaving, and they were flying across the world. But then Captain Hook caught them, and Captain Hook was so afraid of the crocodile. And whoever tick-tock crocs him. But then they got out of the net, and then they said, hide behind. And then Peter Pan was like, Tiger Lily, I need to save her. And then Peter Pan was limiting Captain Hook's voice. He was like, oh, set her free. And then the pirates were like, but Captain, you ordered us to bring her here. And then Peter Pan said, don't worry, I'll get rid of Peter. That's all I want. And then they let Tiger Lily go. The next day they were really gonna leave, but then Captain Hook actually knew that he tricked his pirates. And then he said, I'm coming for you, Peter Pan. The next day, they were caught by Peter Pan when they were about to go home with the Lost Boys. They were caught, and Captain Hook said, you're going to be a perfect snack for the hungry crocodile. And Peter Pan showed up. No. And then Tinkerbell saw, and then she told Peter. She said, Peter, And Peter Pan said yes. And then Tinkerbell told him everything. And then Peter Pan said, let's go save our friends. And then they went to go save them. Peter Pan just jumped on the boat and then he started fighting. And then tick tock, the hungry crocodile was going to eat Captain Hook. And then Peter Pan just swung him into the water, and that was the end of Captain Hook. And then they rescued the Lost Boys and Michael and John and Wendy. And then they were like, you are like a hero in some stories. And then he said, thank you. And then he said, let's finally go home tomorrow. And then he said, okay. So the next day they went safely. And Michael and John and Wendy were so happy to be back with their parents. And the mom said, who are these people? And then he said, those are the Lost Boys. Curly, Slightly, the twins, and Nibs. And Peter Pan and Tinkerbell were going to say goodbye. And Wendy was like, do you want to change your decision, Peter? Do you want to stay with us? And Peter Pan said, I would never like to grow up. I would like to be a boy forever. And then he said, and Wendy said, are you sure you don't want to change? And then he said no. And then he said goodbye to everybody. And then Peter Pan and Tinkerbell left. Bye, you guys. That's the end of the story.